In a world that screams for your attention, there's a place that invites you to peace. You don't need a building. You don't need a choir. You just need to turn your heart to Air One.
Air One. Songs that heal. Lyrics that pray for you when you don't have the words.
From Lauren Daigle to Elevation Worship and more.
This isn't just radio. It's worship for the everyday.
Escape the noise and worship now.
Download the Air One app. Ask your smart speaker to play Air One or visit air1.com. Air One. Worship now.
One of these men is a highly respected New York attorney, Lucas A. Ferrara. The other is a self-proclaimed man of the people, known as Mert Roberts. Their aim is to discuss the hottest issues impacting our city, state, and nation. Fasten your seatbelts. Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live, starts now on AM 970, The Answer.
I love that country beat. What's the name of that tune, Alex?
All right, happy Independence Day weekend, because it is Independence Day by Synclab Music.
The song is Independence Day, I get it. But we're broadcasting live on Sunday, July 5. And even though July 4th was yesterday, we're still celebrating the nation's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America! What did you do yesterday, Alex?
I was here at the studio for a little bit, and then I went down to the Hudson River, and on Thursday I saw the tall ships come in and saw the ball drop at Times Square, the second one this year.
Wow. How about you, Mert? How was your July 4th?
Well, I worked yesterday, rode my bike to the city, so, it was very, very outdoorsy for me. That's how I spent my 4th. And I rested a lot when I got home. 25 miles on the bike both ways.
Wow.
Total of 50. That's
pretty good for a single day. That's amazing. You know what, though? Let's back on the Independence Day topic. What I wanted to talk about is some 250 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed, America finds itself in a familiar place. We're continuing to argue about the meaning of the very words that launched this country. And this year, the flashpoint isn't Congress, Mert. It isn't the White House, believe it or not. It isn't a presidential tweet or even a Supreme Court ruling. It's a church. A small historic church on Nantucket Island. It's called the Unitarian Universalist Meeting House, that decided to cancel its annual public reading of the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights because, in the words of its leadership, the congregation, needed to, quote, understand our own whiteness. End quote. Now that the audience didn't like that. Apparently.
Is it bad to boo a church? I don't even know anymore.
It's probably bad form, but this was a stupid idea. The phrase "understand our own whiteness" reverberated like a lightning bolt, Mert, and suddenly a quiet island tradition became a national debate about patriotism, race, history, and who gets to define America at 250 years. Now, today we're going to dive into that story, not to inflame, not to sanitize, but to examine. Because if the 4th of July means anything, it means we get to argue about what America is out loud, in public, and with passion. So let's go there. Do you not think that was a stupid idea to cancel the reading of the Declaration of Independence so that they can examine? Here's the full quote, then you can comment, Mert. We are pausing this year's reading to better understand our own whiteness and how our traditions may exclude or harm. Reading the Declaration of Independence or the Bill of Rights excludes or harms? That's ridiculous, Mert. Shouldn't they be ashamed of themselves?
Well, listen, I understand what they're doing. If what you're saying is accurate, because at first I was confused at what direction they were coming from, but it seems like they are saying that this country began as exclusionary type of country that excluded black people and Native Americans. So they don't want to read the Declaration or whatever document we're talking about. That's not really important to me right now. What's important is the sentiment behind what they're doing, because it is admirable to take a step back.
You think it's admirable?
That's what I just said. It's admirable to take a step back and say, you know what, as white people, you know what, we had a lot to do with how the state of the black community, the state of other communities, and if they want to examine how they could, do their part and make things better, why would anybody be against that? Because it's only people who want to say, let those black people worry about themselves. We'll just worry about being white, or just do your own thing. Stop worrying about them, or you shouldn't feel guilty. I don't think they feel guilty. I think they feel a sense of responsibility. So what would be the real issue with them acknowledging that? I think what happens in this country is, and it sounds like you might have fallen prey to this, is that big time politicians, they become very good at trying to influence white people that they're under attack, when that's not the case. And I think that plays a large part in the type of sentiments that you may have, which just provoked you to play that electronic boo. There's nobody booing but Lucas right there. So in a way,
pull back the curtain a little more, Mert.
In a way, it has worked, because there's a lot of white people out there who are buying into this idea that you're being persecuted.
It was totally stupid. Look, have we made mistakes? Have we made mistakes as a country? No question about it, Mert. But what does it have to do with the Declaration, the founding of our country, the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights? You don't cancel a tradition like that based on this kind of excuse. You want to examine your own whiteness? Go right ahead and do that. Yes, if you want to have a special seminar, special presentation where you examine the sins of our forefathers, or even the sins of that church, whatever they may be guilty of historically, they can do that. Right now, but to cancel a reading of the Declaration of Independence,
right now,
it's virtue signaling.
What you're doing right now is a big problem, because this is going against the American spirit. You're trying to tell us that we need to bow down and kiss the ring, basically, and read this document over and over again that they've always done.
It was a tradition, Mert.
And this is
they
the
have
problem
always
with people.
Read the Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights, and all of a sudden they decided to cancel because they wanted to virtue signal to the world.
I get that. Let me get this out.
Okay?
Before you cut me off again. Let me get this out.
You can't reinforce this kind of ridiculousness.
All right, let me say this. You're so worried about tradition, but all this
and honoring our country.
Hold on a second.
And honoring our country. Honor our country.
Let me get this out so we keep going. You arguing about the same thing ain't gonna help us. Okay, so you want tradition to keep being done over and over again, but if you look around us, traditions are constantly broke for the benefit of the country. So for you to sit there and try to lean on tradition and ignore, oh, wait a minute, we have technology now, we have cell phones now, we have ways of doing things that we didn't have back then. You know what? Maybe sometimes it's okay to go away from tradition. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anybody.
It's not okay.
It's not okay, Mert.
It's not okay, Mert.
It is okay, because
no, it is not.
If you want to stick to the way things have always been done, then you got to stick to the bad ways as well. You can't exclude all the negative things and just keep the positive. No, because people love some of these people love the negative stuff. So we're going to take out the negative stuff. You can talk about
the negative stuff, but that doesn't negate our founding.
No, celebrating tradition. Hold on a second. Celebrating traditions include the negative stuff as well, because to some people the negative stuff isn't negative, it's positive. So if we're going to get rid of the negative stuff, then sometimes some things that you feel like are traditional, those will be removed too, because somebody likes.
He's not making sense. You're not making sense, Mert. How is the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights negative stuff?
Well, you just read. Hold on a second. 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 You just read.
You're losing it, Bert. I'm sorry.
Hold on a
You're
second.
losing it.
Hold on. You're losing it because you just read why they feel like it's negative. You just read that, and you're a very smart man. You're a big time.
I just read it.
Lawyer.
I can read it to you. I can read it to you again.
Millionaire lawyer. You just read why
they want to better understand their whiteness.
Hold on a second. You just read it.
They want to better understand their whiteness. How absurd. How absurd.
And you're trying to tell me you don't understand. You might not agree, but I know you're smart enough to understand what they're trying to say. So this is the reason they're giving you, because you seem to need a reason.
It's virtual signaling, and it's a slap in the face of the country as far as I'm concerned. Alex,
say that.
Help me out, because
hold on a second. You're running from this. Say that is virtue signaling. Don't try to act like don't try to act like you don't know what they're doing. They're giving you a reason.
That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right.
Okay, you don't feel like it's right, but don't try to act like you don't know why they're doing it. They're giving you the reason, you just don't agree with it.
But the whiteness issue is stupid. It's the lamest excuse I've ever heard.
You
want to examine your whiteness? You know what? You want to examine your whiteness, Mert? Close your church. Close your church, because I'm sure you were insensitive to the needs of slaves. I'm sure there are lots of sins in that church's history. I'm just assuming. I'm sorry, but. Are you going to negate the church because of the mistakes the church made? No. You can talk about those mistakes. You could try to make amends for those mistakes, but you don't cancel the church. Well, the same thing here. You don't cancel the country. You don't cancel the reading of a Declaration of Independence, which is to honor our country.
They didn't cancel the country.
It's to honor our country.
They just went away from what you consider a tradition. They decided to alter how they did things this year.
Well, it's
and there's
a
nothing
dishonor.
wrong with that.
It's a
dishonor. You believe in freedom. You believe in freedom of expression.
And
I don't see how you could have a problem with this. You're a hypocrite.
It was a lame excuse. Alex, you've got to help Bird out, because I think he's lost it.
Well, if we go away from tradition such as this, right, and I mean nationwide, but specifically here, then the community will start to forget how we were formed 250 years ago. And we need to remember how we were formed to, the pursuit of happiness, self-governance.
Amen.
We need to remember all that.
And already stats are showing.
No, that's dangerous. Hold on a second. That's dangerous what you just said right there.
No, it's not dangerous at all. He's absolutely
You're trying
right.
to act like people. Hold on a second.
You don't know what you're talking about.
You're trying to act like people can't do two things at the same time.
I think if we go away from tradition,
they seem to be able to say that they can't do.
No.
They're the ones that canceled the reading of the Declaration of the Independence.
All right, before you interrupt me and cut me off, let me just get this out. I get that you're fired up, but let me get this off before you interrupt me. You can do two things at the same time. You can remember how the country started, and you can alter a tradition. It's not impossible for two things to happen concurrently, Alex. So what you're trying to say is very short-sighted. And it's very dangerous, because that's what people do when they want you to stop taking away or start tearing into their little traditions. They try to say, we're going to forget about how the world.
I'm glad you said tearing, because I'm just thinking to myself, I don't know. I don't want them tearing down statues either to tear down history like that. But I think
because of their whiteness, let's negate history because of their whiteness, right? It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. By the way, the comments mostly unfavorable. One Nantucket resident said, "It's the Declaration of Independence. If that's controversial, we're in trouble." Another resident said, "This is a tradition that brings the whole island together. Why throw it away?" And finally, Ben Shapiro, he's a conservative columnist. He said, "If reading the founding documents is now considered an act of whiteness, then we've lost the plot." Well, Shapiro, they've lost the plot for sure. This church, they're out of their minds.
Well, Ben Shapiro should be careful, because his community is one of the communities that were persecuted back in the day. So he needs to be careful before he starts to say that he's white, because he could be persecuted for his faith, and he needs to understand that.
That's
that
a
at
jump.
one point,
he's saying, what does the founding documents have to do with acts of whiteness?
Because it's not the founding documents; it's the idea. Hey, instead of doing what we always do, we're going to acknowledge our history and how we can make things better.
You can always acknowledge history, but you don't negate
hold on a second. That is
the foundation of the country.
That is also a form of understanding history and understanding where we have come from to where we are today.
I think we're missing a piece in this, by the way. What did they do instead? I wonder what they did instead. Does anybody know?
Well, what they do instead is because of the way. No, what you're doing is you're educating your congregation. Hey, this is where we come from. Let's not make the same mistakes, because there is this sense in this country that people are starting to slip back into the same ways they used to think about minorities and other communities, and we need to remember where we came from, because if you don't educate yourself on that as well,
and you know what,
then
Mert,
you can't forget.
I agree. Understanding race is in American history absolutely essential, but eliminating the public readings of founding documents, it doesn't.
1 year.
That's a thing, Mert. Only says we're better than you, and also to me signals a hate for the country. I'm sorry. Because
what it signals is you're afraid of acknowledging history, and there's no reason to be afraid.
No, I'm parsing it out. We're talking about our founding documents and honoring our country's birthday, particularly on its 250th anniversary, Mert. Particularly on the 250th anniversary, they decided to cancel that event.
Listen,
it's ridiculous.
The country isn't going to have feelings one way or the other. The people of the country will. So if you want to cry because you personally feel attacked, that's on you.
I didn't say I personally feel attacked.
The country is the land and the documents and the courthouses and all that stuff. All this physical stuff that represents the country is not going to feel anything. So when you're trying to say, well, the country is under attack, nothing's under attack. What
it is under attack.
It's being discussed.
Many people have lost confidence.
They didn't renounce their citizenship. They didn't renounce anything. They just said this year we're just going to dive into how things used to be.
I did look this up. They actually had conversation on race, on voting, and all that. I mean, look, this country was formed. Wait, this country was formed.
Well, then they should have then read the founding documents and the Bill of Rights. It's not mutually exclusive.
If they do it every year, what's taking 1 year off going to do?
Because it's the 250th anniversary. It's a slap in the face.
You see how sensitive you are to doing things differently. You see that?
The audience.
You don't want to improve.
The audience is not supporting you.
You're against improvement. See, this is improvement. This is growth. This is letting the congregation know, hey, easy. Don't get all into this whiteness, because this will hurt you in the long run. Trying to be pro-white, it will hurt you in the long run. And they started to pick up on that, because there's being tricks played on the white community. The white community is being tricked into thinking there's an attack on the white community when white people are doing better than ever. But to a lot of white people out there, they don't feel like that. And that's a dirty trick that politicians are playing. So sometimes you need to have somebody in the white community step up and let them know. Be very careful, because other people aren't the enemy. It comes from within that we are being attacked by other white people who are trying to trick you into thinking that you're being attacked by other communities.
You don't go that way by canceling a reading of the Declaration of Independence. So what do we do with this Nantucket controversy? We talk about it, we debate it, we argue about it passionately, as you could hear, because that's the American way. And now it's 2026, and we argue, not because we hate America, not because but because we care about it. That's why. Because the Declaration, whether you read it in a church, a school, a town square, or not at all, still challenges us. It provokes us. It inspires us. It unites us. And that, in a strange way, is the most patriotic thing of all. 250 years later, the question isn't whether we read the Declaration, Mert. It's whether we still believe in it. And sadly, it appears that many do not, and that's why I think it's shameful. Here's something you can believe in. This is Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas Live. We're truly honored to have you along with us for the ride. Just in case you're keeping count, this is episode 104. Thank you. Would you believe it? It's the end of our second year. This is Lucas Ferrara. We're ever mindful that without you, we couldn't have made it this far. So we're grateful. We've got some great guests in store for you. Before we announce them, I want to thank my co-host. You heard from him. He's lost. He's delusional. Mert Roberts.
Hold on. You're the lost one. I'm here to save you.
Producer, engineer. Alex Garrett. He's got a great podcast, One Leg Up, with Alex Garrett. Check it out. We have three guests. Greg Shirley, he's a New York Times best-selling presidential historian. We've got hour 2, Rainier Zeidelman. He's an historian, sociologist, and author of Space Capitalism. He's going to be talking about space. And then we're joined by Carol Platt-Liebau, an attorney, policy strategist, and president of the Yankee Institute. So don't you dare drift, don't blink. Shake It Off with Mert, Alex, and all of us here at AM 970 returns right after these messages.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 55 East 59th Street, New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
We love bringing you products that improve your life. Well, this product can save your life. There are approximately 5,000 choking deaths in the U.S. each year. One child dies every 5 days from choking. Did you know older adults are at an increased risk of choking? Yes. And lodged food is the main cause. Ever pop small, bite-sized foods in your mouth like peanuts, grapes, or popcorn? Those foods that people eat by the handful can get overloaded in the mouth, which can cause a choking episode. LifeVac is a simple rescue device that can change a life in a choking emergency. It's non-invasive and easy to use, and one kit fits the whole family. If you have a young child in your family or a senior relative living alone, I strongly recommend you visit the LifeVac website today at lifevac.net. View the videos demonstrating its ease of use. LifeVac works in 3 simple steps: place, push, and pull. The LifeVac device dislodges the obstruction and suctions out the food or object. It's that simple. And it can be self-administered. LifeVac.net, made in the USA and FDA registered.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is the sound of captivity. This is the sound of rescue. And this is the sound of freedom. Give Armenia's captive bears a second chance by supporting International Animal Rescue. Call 508-826-1083 or search The Great Bear Rescue to learn more.
MyPillow and MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $17.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 and the 6-pack towel set for only $39.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code JOEP or call 800-651-0798. These offers won't last long, so call 800-651-0798 or go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code JOEP. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code JOEP or call 800-651-0798. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
What is that one called, Alex?
All right, this is called War by Music for Video.
War. How fitting. giving our next guest, Greg Shirley. He's the best selling presidential historian whose work has become essential reading for anyone trying to understand Ronald Reagan, the conservative realignment, and America's role in World War II. Behind the speeches, the campaigns, and the mythology, Greg exposes the political machinery, the global stakes, and the human decisions that shaped the American century. His books, from Rendezvous with Destiny to December 1941, and April 1945, reveal the pressure points, the turning points, and the moments when leadership mattered most. He writes about history, consequence, and the lessons we still haven't fully absorbed. Now today, he's using his voice to illuminate the past so we can better understand the present and prepare for the future. Greg Shirley joins us now. Welcome to the program, Greg.
Thank you so much. That was one of the nicest introductions I've ever had. Thank you so much.
Well, that's an honor. Thank you, coming from you, my friend. Look, we had a big fight the first segment. I don't know if you heard, but we had a big fight over that stupid Nantucket church that decided to cancel the tradition of reading the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights because they wanted to reflect on their whiteness. Now, is that not a slap to the country, my friend? Do you have any opinion on that, or would you rather pass on expressing any view on that?
No, I'll take a whack at it. I think it's silly. Let's face it, it's just silly. Tomorrow we're all going to forget about them and forget about the action. But in a way, in a negative sort of way, kind of like a negative superpower, is that their intransigence is a testament to the durability of this country. We've had, for 250 years, naysayers and people who fought against the government, fought against the Constitution, fought against the Declaration. Starting with King George III and how he vowed that if he caught the 56 signers of the Declaration, he would have been drawn and quartered, entrails burned, the entrails cut out and burned. Is that it's down through history, we've had a lot of tests. It had a lot of internal spies. We had spies during World War II, and more recently during the Iran War. It's a testament. If we want to look at the bright side, I think it's a testament to the durability of the country.
So let me ask you this: when are the people of this country supposed to fight back and take a stance and say, you know what, maybe this isn't so good, maybe we should analyze this? Because we've had instances in this country where we go against the government. So when is it legitimate to do it versus when it's not? Because I'm thinking of something like the Whiskey Rebellion, for instance. You're a historical guy. That could be looked at by certain people as these people are going against the government. To others, hey, we're justified. So when is that distinction appropriate to make?
The Whiskey Rebellion is interesting because Hamilton wanted to pay for the cost of the revolution.
Right.
And even back in 1787, whatever it is that there were sleazy lobbyists in Washington. And the big distilleries convinced the federal government to levy more taxes on the small distilleries instead of the big distilleries because they had the lobbyists and the small distilleries didn't.
Right.
So what they did was very clever. The small distilleries simply moved out of the United States, and they moved into Kentucky and Tennessee, which was before they were states. And that's why today you have all the fine whiskeys and ryes and bourbons and other drinks, other whiskeys coming out of Tennessee and Kentucky because of the action by the federal government. So every time you get a concentration of power, you're going to get sleaze, and it's our duty to put as much sunlight as possible. Justice Brandeis said, sunlight is the best disinfection.
And that's And that's what they were doing, this church in Nantucket. You might not like it, but there's somebody who
There's a difference between sunlight, Mert, and negating the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. It's a slap in the face. And I think, hey, Greg,
they don't have any lawyers fighting the document. They just didn't read it this year. They don't have anybody trying to fight it legally. They just said this year we're going to do something different.
Don't you think Ronald Reagan would have found this un-American, Greg? Since you studied Ronald Reagan, what would Ronald Reagan have thought about this mishegas, this craziness?
I think he would. I find it un-American. I find it reprehensible. Ronald Reagan would have found it un-American. He would have found it reprehensible, but he would have defended their right to act in a obnoxious behavior. Our country. I remember when he was testifying before the House Un-American Activities Committee, and he against communist subversion in Hollywood, and his was really hot, as you guys know, in late 40s and early 1950s. The Red Scare was a true thing. Is that there were communist Soviet agents operating in the United States, but Reagan's position is that this is reprehensible. But I believe our country is strong enough and durable enough to accept all points of view, and so he took I thought was the high-minded position, which is they stink, but they have the right to stink if they want to. And now, because of in the 21st century, because we have the internet, because we have so many means that do radio and doing now, is to put sunlight on those jerks in Nantucket. Maybe they're going to lose people, their contributions, and lose members of their church and things like that. Is that they're going to suffer consequences.
And that's very fair. See, that's the good thing. I'm glad you put it that way, because it's a duality to it. They're not just going to get support and a bunch of money. They could lose people. They got people out there who severely disagree with this. So it is fair.
Remember what Isaac Newton said, right? His third law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Right. Let me ask you this, because we also had another argument on the show about age limits in politicians. Studying Ronald Reagan, what do you think about age limits in politicians? Do you think that's something that we should lean into, or are those out of question in your opinion?
And think Biden while you're at it, Greg. Anyway,
think Reagan.
I'm thinking about that now, but I think that there's nothing wrong with politicians being tested, just like they need to be a certain age to be elected, or need to be an American citizen to be elected, and for them to take some type of mental acuity.
Yes.
Yeah, mental acuity, to make sure that they are functioning. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it's an invasion of privacy at all. I think it's in the government. It's in the public interest.
So you're saying no. So you're saying no to the age limit,
that
right?
I probably have a conflict of interest being 69 years old myself.
Right.
I don't want anybody passing judgment against me yet.
No, but Greg, I think you're onto something, because last week when we did talk about this topic, one of the proposals was that there would be testing performed by some sort of neutral body, not Republican, not Democrat, a neutral body that can do an objective examination, and then I think we can protect the country and avoid the kind of embarrassment we had with Biden, okay? Because that was disgraceful.
Reagan went to Mayo every year of his presidency to be tested, and every year he passed with flying colors. The Alzheimer's didn't take effect until almost 6 years after he left the presidency.
Yes, I remember that, and he was a great president, by the way.
Yes, he was.
And when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking more about that. Did you have a quick question, Mert, before we go to the break?
Well, yeah, we could just go to break, but I was going to ask, what age did Reagan become president for the first time? Because he was considered the oldest, so you could shed some light on that.
He was
Because
6'9".
You know what? Let's hold that for when we come back, Greg. We have to take a quick commercial break. Have no fear. When we return, Greg Shirley will be joining us. You'll find his books, including Rendezvous with Destiny, December 1941 and April 1945 on Amazon and wherever books are sold. In the meantime, Mert, Alex, and I hope you'll stay right where you are. What a story. And we're just getting started. Greg Shirley, the historian who has spent decades dissecting Reagan, World War II, and the American psyche, is staying with us. Don't drift, don't blink, don't even think about touching that dial. Greg Shirley returns after this.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 55 East 59th Street, New York City. Go online to NewmanFerrara.com. That's NewmanFerrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Close your eyes and see it. A private island in the Bahamas, powder white sand under your feet, Jamaica's lush mountains rising out of the sea, crystal clear waters in the Cayman Islands, sun-drenched streets, and ancient culture in Cozumel. Now step aboard a luxury ship where everything is handled, first-class dining, relaxed elegance, no packing and unpacking, just experience. And at the center of it all, conversations that matter. Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn. Live, unfiltered, engaging with you. Meet them, talk with them, share meals, build relationships with people who think like you and value what you value. This is more than a vacation. It's a celebration of 250 years of American freedom, set against the most beautiful backdrop in the Caribbean. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin. 7 days, November 14th through 21st. The Gulf of America Cruise. Book now. Text CRUISE to 94878. Alex Marlow cuts through the political spin on the Alex Marlow podcast.
The economics of illegal immigration is so dumb. It's so stupid for Americans. We want American dollars to stay in America. That's how the economy grows. But if I pay an illegal alien and they send 50% of it home, the money doesn't go to American businesses. It goes to another country. Why do we want that? It's a race to the far-left Islamist wing of the party.
Subscribe for free today on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
If you're a tradesman and you make money with your truck, Ralph can save you a buck. Ralph could hook you up with a pickup. Just pick up the phone and call Ralph at 844-TRD-TOYOTA. Ralph is the blue-collar guy with a hook into Toyota trucks who speaks your language, like low lease and finance rates for fleets, small businesses, and independents. Ralph can help with a Toyota business line of credit. Ralph always gets you the best price. Plus, Ralph spreads it around with an incredible referral program built to incentivize you to send your friends and family to 844-TRD-TOYOTA. So if you need a hookup to a pickup, pick up the phone and call Ralph at 844-TRD-TOYOTA or find out more at ToyotaTRD.com. Give Ralph a call at 844-TRD-TOYOTA and make sure you tell him Joe Piscopo sent you.
Mike Gallagher explains what America means to him.
America means freedom, faith, family, and the courage to defend all three. It means honoring the men and women of our military and law enforcement who stand watch over our great nation. I believe in an America First agenda because I believe our leaders should always put American citizens, American values, and the American dream first. I'm proud to be called the happy conservative warrior because I still believe the best days of this country are ahead of us.
Don't miss The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 10 on AM 970. The Answer. Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
We are back with Craig Shirley, whose work brings clarity and urgency to the moments that shaped America, from the shock of Pearl Harbor to the political revolution of 1980. There's more to unpack, and he's here with us. You'll find his books, Rendezvous with Destiny, December 1941, April 1945, and those are just a few, on Amazon and wherever books are sold. And we'll also have the links posted on our website, shakeitofflive.com. Now, Craig, let's pick up where we left off. How old was Reagan when he was president? That was Mert's question before the break.
He was 69 when he was elected in 1980.
Well, this is the thing. I want to scratch that because I have a genius here with all this presidential knowledge. So I want to scratch that line of questioning and move in a different direction. Can you, in your opinion, tell me which president since Reagan has been closest to Reagan? Now, there's some people out there who said some Democrats have done some stuff Reagan would have done, and they say Reagan wasn't actually that conservative. So I'm trying to get it through my head as somebody who's really studied this individual. What presidents have been closest to him?
Yeah, when you say closest, you mean ideologically?
Yes, that's what I meant.
They have to be Donald Trump.
Really?
Both of them were conservative. Both were populist. Both were pro-life. Both were strong national defense. They're both, Reagan was a free trader, but it was a different time. Trump, believed in tariffs, but it was a different time. In the Republican Party, they shifted on so many issues. It's interesting. The Democratic Party has been essentially the same since 1932. It's been the party of government. Mm-hmm. The Republican Party has changed many times on abortion, on war and peace, on spending, on balanced budgets, on all sorts of issues from 1932 up until the present. It used to be for high tariffs with Smoot-Hawley. Then it used to be for free trade with Reagan. Now it's back to high tariffs with Donald Trump. But Trump, I think, has a very good point, is that other countries have taken advantage of us down through the years. And I suspect, I never talked to Reagan about this, but I suspect he didn't want to upset the apple cart because he needed them in the fight against communism, in the fight against the Soviet Union. So he didn't upset the apple cart on those issues because he needed them as allies.
Hey, Craig, can I ask you a stupid question? Are we losing the fight against communism now? And would Reagan, because of what's happening in New York, for example, now we're seeing more socialists and communists going to D.C. How is that possible, even remotely possible, from an historical perspective?
Don't forget, Eugene Debs ran for president 5 times as a socialist in the early part of the 20th century. Is that we've had flirtation with socialism several times in our history, but it's always been proven to be what we all know is that it's a losing philosophy. It doesn't work. It's never worked any place in the world, and it's not designed to work. It's designed to keep people down. And the American people have proven after 250 years that democratic capitalism, it's what's best for this country. It's what's built this country up. It's what's given us great colleges and great universities and great movies and great buildings and great architecture and great highway system and all those. Everything in America has been produced by democratic capitalism. Medicine. Where would we have, without the profit motive, giving medical prescription companies, drug companies, the incentive to make medicines that are doing so many wondrous things today? Is that so? It'll get some attention, but it's always been a loser philosophy because it doesn't work. I think part of the problem is that they don't teach isms in school anymore. They don't teach about capitalism. They don't teach about communism. They don't teach about socialism. They don't teach about Nazism. They don't teach, which, by the way, too, is that I want everybody to understand, Nazism is a left-wing ideology. Adolf Hitler said, "I will make you worship the state." That is the essence of socialism. Not stands short for National Socialism, and socialism is defined by the textbook definition is the state controls the means of production and distribution, and that's what they did in Nazi Germany. And by the way, anti-Semitism often follows Nazism or left or socialism. I mean, look at what's going on in American college campuses today. How they're harassing Jewish students. How they're keeping them out of buildings and dormitories and classrooms. I mean, this is the 21st century, and this nonsense is going on. So, A, we're not teaching isms in school today, and B, a lot of youngsters, a lot of young people confuse socialism with society, with social media, with all the nice things that are associated with the word social. They somehow think that socialism is about society, about social, and it has nothing to do with, as we all know, it has nothing to do with with society. It has everything to do with the structure of society.
That's right. And you know what they're not teaching also, Greg? They're not teaching love of country. Okay.
That is so important. That is so important, is to understand that the love of country animates everything that is done. What did George Washington sacrifice 7 years of his life for no pay and freezing conditions and the bad armies? And why did he do it? Because he loved the idea of America, and he loved the idea of freedom, and he loved the idea of throwing off the British Empire. Is that
let me say,
those men who signed the Declaration of Independence did so because they loved the United States. They loved not the United States, but they loved America.
Yeah, and that's what we're losing. And that's what we're losing, my friend. Yes, go ahead.
Let me say this, because this is what we have to be careful with, because there's a lot of people out there who are frustrated with their position within this country, and that number is growing day after day. Whatever the reason, that's not what I'm discussing right now. What I'm discussing is it's an issue that's coming. There are people out there feel like they can't have the American dream. They're sitting there saying, I still have to live with my parents because I can't get a job that pays enough. Whose fault is that? And all they can look.
I want to meet them. I don't buy that. Is that I can't. I'm a little older, but I came from nothing. My father was a city firefighter. Died when I was a kid. Died in the line of duty when I was a kid. Is that? And if I can, of average intelligence, if I can make it, anybody can make it. I don't buy the American dream is alive and well. Look at the millionaires and billionaires that are created every day. Look at the astronauts who just went to the moon. Look at all the things, all the examples, all the technology, and all the advancements in science. And the American dream is still alive for anybody who wants to go out and get it. But you got to want to get it. Is that nobody's going to hand it to you? And
I'll say this.
That's right, Greg. You're absolutely right, Greg. The kids want things handed to them, like Mert. That's what Mert wants hands out. He wants handouts.
Ain't nobody hearing what you said right now. I'll say this. Sometimes you have to account for the portion of the population that don't want to do it, the right way. They want to take shortcuts, or maybe they're lazy, or maybe they just have no motivation to get out and do stuff, because they can become a problem as well. And trying to tell everybody, hey, just get better grades, just do the right thing. That's good to say in theory, but you have to deal with these individuals and you have to get them out of the way. So if you need government programs to get them out of the way, then that's something that you have to take seriously, because just telling everybody, hey, you can make it, that sounds nice, but it's not that easy, because we're dealing with people and they could be coming from backgrounds that promote nonsense.
It is easier today to get ahead, to get bank loans, to get student loans, to get is easier today to get ahead than has ever been in the history of the United States. It's easier today. I want to meet these people who you claim are not getting ahead. It's only because they don't want to. They're not trying.
Right. But let me ask you:
what is the government supposed to do about people who won't help themselves?
Amen.
That's what I'm trying to ask you. What do you do with people? Because there's millions and millions out there who aren't even attracted to the idea of getting ahead. What do you do with those people? Because you just can't get rid of them.
Is that there's if somebody gets up and they decide, you know what, I don't want to work hard. I just want to work 9 to 5 and drink some beers at night and watch reruns.
That sounds like Mert.
That's
Lucas. That sounds like Mert.
In our society, you have the right to be mediocre. You don't have to get ahead if you don't want to. But we shouldn't stop those people who do, and we should be helping them as much as possible.
Well, wait a minute. You just said it's easier now than ever. So which one is it?
Yes, it is. But you got to go out and get it. You're not going to hand it to you. You still got to go out and get it.
Thank you. You have to earn it, Mert.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
do what I did. You know what? 50 years ago, I was slinging hash at a seafood restaurant in Cape Cod.
You were selling drugs? Is that what you just said? You was a drug dealer? Is that what you're saying? What do you mean hash? You were a drug dealer?
No, not that. That's slang. That's you know what? I guess I'm dating myself. That's food. That's food.
Okay.
It's an old colloquialism. I'm tipping my hand as far as my age goes. But I was working.
69 is young these days. That ain't old anymore.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I look in the mirror though. That that invalidates the theory. But is that I worked by the day building a house, and I worked at night at this restaurant. Is that and then I went back to college, and I did that for 3 or 4 years there. And then but I'm not a great example, but I am an example. Is that you can get ahead if you try. Is that I don't know a more open society today in the world than the United States. I don't know a more open, helpful. Is that there's always, and it's not government helping because there are loans. Everybody can get a loan from the government. Everybody can. There's all sorts of small business loans, and there are racial minority loans, and there are all sorts of things out there available. And if there's not even then from the bank or from churches and things like that, there's all sorts of help out there just waiting. People just all they have to do is go ask.
I think it's shameful that people are comfortable expressing hatred for one of the greatest country in the world that gives them the right to speak ill of their own country. It's ironic, is it not? But I find it distasteful. Great.
I couldn't agree with you more. But the question is, what do you do about it? The only thing you can do is put sunlight on it and set a better example, and make that. What is the old adage? Is that living well is the best revenge? Is that go out and make your life successful, and make those people unsuccessful, make them jealous, and make them envious of your success.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if they need more anger, because when you have people like AOC saying that we shouldn't have billionaires, we should take all their money. This is scary stuff, Greg, and that's why
she's a joke. She's irrelevant.
She is a joke. That's why we have to have you back on, because we've run out of time and we should talk more. You'll find Greg's book, Rendezvous with Destiny, December 1941, April 1945, on Amazon, wherever books are sold. He's got a bunch of other books. Check him out. We'll also have links posted on our website, Shake It Off Live. Greg, thanks so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, we got to have him. We got to have him back because he's a history expert. I can hear we he had so much to say. We didn't even get to, all the
touch
stuff
the
about
surface.
Ronald Reagan I want to ask.
And after the break, we've got another historian. We have another historian. Thank you. You're welcome back. He's got another historian coming on, Dr. Rainier Zeidelman, and he's one of the most provocative thinkers on wealth, freedom, and the future of human ambition. He's got a book we got to talk about. It's called Space Capitalism. It's the future. It's imperative you come back after the news at the top of the hour, suffer through a few commercial messages. But once that's all done, Mert, Alex, and I, along with the rest of the AM 970 team, will be waiting right here for you. We know you want it. We know you do. Shake it off with us. Come back, hour 2. Lots more controversy and maybe some answers await.
The preceding hour of programming sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.
In a world that screams for your attention, there is a place that invites you to peace. You don't need a building. You don't need a choir. You just need to turn your heart to Air One.
Air One, songs that heal, lyrics that pray for you when you don't have the words.
From Lauren Daigle to Elevation Worship and more.
This isn't just radio. It's worship for the everyday.
Escape the noise and worship now.
Download the Air One app. Ask your smart speaker to play Air One or visit air1.com. Air One, worship now.